Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fast Enthusiast, the podcast where we candidly discuss speedrunning. Today, with me on the show is actually one of my very first friends in the speedrunning scene, and he is also on my Twitch team as well, the Clock Tower. We both joined at the same time. It is none other than the Resident Evil Kingdom Hearts aficionado and Buffy lover, Tex and Red Wolf. Hello, Tex.
Hi, I wouldn't call myself a Resident Evil aficionado. I haven't run a Resident Evil game in forever, except for playing them with Tally. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hi,
I mainly
hello.
just said that because of I mainly just said that because of your Resident Evil 6 run at GDQ. But
Such a good
yeah, that was a
run.
fun time. Oh yeah, watching it back was such a blast. So to move on to the first question I usually pose to all my guests, how did you first get into speedrunning? Like, was there a specific event that prompted you into speedrunning, or did you just decide to do it and then find out there's a whole community around it?
So it's actually very interesting. You know me from Dead Rising, and I would say Dead Rising is the first main, well, one of the first main speed running games that I ever got into. But I started with a game called What Never Was, and it's still free to play and it still has leaderboards, but it's a game. It's like a 1 minute speed run or less. I don't know where it's at right now, but I enjoyed the story of it and being able to memorize all the puzzles and where everything was. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do this until I get a really solid time. And I didn't realize what speed running was at that time. And then I learned, and I was like, oh, there's like a whole new world here for me. And then I ended up stumbling in further by being like, oh, I really like South Park Stick of Truth. I wonder if there's something tied to this. Got into South Park Stick of Truth speedrunning. And I did any percent Jew for that, which is the best run, hands down, other than Mage from what I've seen. And from there, it kind of catapulted into horror games because I started watching Ecdysis and then someone else in the Dead Rising community that isn't there anymore. Um, and I was watching them while I was working night shift for my job at the time. So I would just have them up in the background. And then slowly but surely, I just kind of started acquiring more games that I wanted to learn and get fast at and just sink time into.
Oh, that sounds pretty good. So it basically all just stemmed from, oh, I've got this game.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna see how fast I can beat it, and then oh look, there's people who do this as well. Oh, I'm part of one of them now. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted my blanket. I just wanted my blanket. That's basically what that was.
Give
Have
me
you
my
seen BoJack
blanket, damn
Horseman?
it. Oh, I've seen a bit of it. I haven't watched all of it because honestly, it dropped off after like the first half of the second season, I believe. So I'm just like, eh.
I heard
It's
it was really, really good, but it's kind of like Cowboy Bebop or Evangelion, where it's like it's gonna hit hard. It's deep. Like you're gonna be depressed after watching an episode.
oh, trust me, yeah, we've all got those sorts of series, so
Oh,
it makes
love this
sense.
series. Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's kind
if
of good.
anyone listening, and if you know it's a text to Clonad, if you've ever watched that anime, oh,
It's on my
the
list.
feelings.
It's on
Oh,
my
prepare
list.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
another
get tissues ready.
another one that did that to me was Beyond the Boundary. You should watch that if you haven't watched it. It's a 1 season anime and it's just an emotional gut punch through the whole thing. Um, I haven't finished it yet. I made it to episode 3, but Madoka Magica, where I was like, wow, this looks like a fun magical girl anime. Oh, oh.
Yep. I mean, yeah, never really trust a magical girl anime if you can. There's
Never.
one called Magical Girl Site, and
Oh, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that
I
one's
saw the manga
brutal.
for that. Oh. This is no longer a
It's so
speedrunning
good.
podcast. This is now an anime podcast.
Yeah, it's a good thing Swede's not here, otherwise he'd tell us off for being too weeby.
Yo,
uh, yes, Swede, if you're listening, you were on last week. Let us have our weebing.
yeah. He's probably gonna comment in
Um,
the section, and be like, "Ah, fucking weebs." Anyway, sorry, back on task.
that's all good. We're all about the tangents here. It's all fun. Um, so I guess on to the next question I've got. What sort of games appeal to you that make you want to speedrun them? Obviously, you've mentioned about horror, but are there any other sorts of games outside of horror that make you want to speedrun them?
So again, I've learned over the last few months that I'm very much a horror and RPG speedrunner. Um, and horror and RPGs have multiple different subgenres, right?
Oh
So,
yes.
um, for example, in the horror, I've got survival horror, which would be my Resident Evil, my Silent Hills. I mean, what else have I done with survival horror? Crow Country. So like indie horror is another one. And then Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which falls into the category of licensed video games, but that's more of like an action game. And then I've got my RPGs where I love my JRPGs because I like memorizing how to beat out of bosses uh, pretty quickly, like knowing what, like the memorization of menuing is really what tickles my brain with RPGs. So I've got Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I've got Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. South Park Stick of Truth is an RPG that I really love, which also falls into the license category. So I would say like the appeal of it is like the horror and being able to get through it quickly without consistently dying. RPGs being able to just do insane amounts of damage with the least amount of like leveling, if that makes sense for RPGs. And then I just love the world of licensed games because the era of video gaming that I grew up in was every movie and TV show had a licensed game like Buffy, Kim Possible, South Park, Harry Potter, Van Helsing. Like there's so much I could list off way more like Cars, everything like that. I love the uniqueness and wacky jankness of licensed games because of how weird they are, and it's a fun niche to be in, to play all of these weird games and like kind of learn all of their little quirks and things like that, and that tends to get me into wanting to learn speedruns is the memorization, mid to medium to like hard difficulty, and sometimes the graphics. So like Dead Rising 2 is like my be all end all favorite Dead Rising of all time. Be it
Of course.
DR2 vanilla or OTR, even though I dunk on OTR a lot because it's just jank. I love those games because of how colorful they are. So being able to have something that basically gives me that little dopamine feed of, yeah, I'm doing the thing, yay.
Anything that just gives those little crumbs of serotonin, that's pretty
Yeah,
much it.
yeah, please put the crumb of serotonin.
Please, sir, I just want the happies. But yeah, talking about licensed games, you should talk to Jaxler if you can get in contact with him because I'm sure he could introduce you to some wacky licensed games as well. He's pretty much the king of those.
Is he? Oh man, I'm gonna have to, because like right now, my current goal is to learn the last. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer has 5 games. I know 3 of them, and then I want to learn the last 2. The last one, the one that I need to learn that already has a route, is the OG Xbox game, and then I need to play through and route the DS game, which is going to be an undertaking because that game is garbage. Oh my god, it's such hot trash, dude, and it's so frustrating to figure out where you gotta go and what to do. Ugh,
Yeah, but they say that sometimes bad games make for the best speed runs.
they really do.
Uh, so when are you finally picking up the Kong speed run?
Man, the moment that I have the patience to sit through and like learn it, like I might ask you or Schmumbler or Swede for assistance on that. It's just like because I started learning it, right? And then I got really
Yeah.
frustrated with some of the jumps, and like the pathing. So I think it's one of those ones where I just need to sit down in a call and play through it rather than doing it on stream. But I have it. It's on the list, the very large
Yeah.
list.
For anyone listening, it's kind of an inside joke that me and Swede were kind of pressuring Tex into learning it because meme team, me, Swede, and Tex,
Yeah,
we're our own meme team, and we just want you to be included, buddy. We want you to be part of the trifecta, the
I
monkey men.
know. I know I should. Because we all play South Park, so.
We did. We played that at ESA actually last year, which was
Yeah,
actually quite a fun time.
plug link of our ESA run from last year.
If I remember, I will put it in the description of the YouTube video because it's a fun run, and I think I've actually got it on my channel as well. But I'll link to the official ESA video as well because they probably got it uploaded.
This is a note for
But
editing Street. Please remember to put the favorite link in the description.
I know you're saying it's a no for editing, but I'm keeping that in, so that's fine. I'll keep the note
Oh no,
in.
I know. Timmy, whenever I have notes for editing for Timmy in like streams, I'll say, "Hey Timmy, can you edit this in?" And then he'll leave that in and then put the.
Okay, so that was a good little exploration of our lovely little camaraderie and your affinity for licensed games, and of course horror and RPGs. Are there any RPGs in particular that you're eyeing up to give a shot? Because I think not too long ago you tried to give Pokemon Emerald a shot, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Oh my God, Pokemon speedrunning is a whole other beast because they have no information on how to do any of the manipulations and it's all RNG. Like, so Pokemon Emerald, because this is the part that I got stuck on the most. At one point, before you go into the cave to help the dude with the Wingle, um,
Yep.
you have to run around in grass in that area beforehand to catch an Abra. Well, Abra doesn't want to fucking show up. So I spent 30 minutes trying to catch an Abra before I could move on to the next portion of the run. It was crazy, dude. Like it, and I gave up. I was like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this anymore, Dulahan.
Oh god. And is that also including the reset heavy start where you have to try and get a runnable mudkip?
There's a reset. It's reset heavy because of needing to get a specific type of mudkip. Is it because of the stats that the mudkip has?
I believe so, yes. I think special attack maybe. I think that has to be quite high, and I think it's a specific nature you need. I haven't run Emerald. I do want to at some point, but just from watching some runs and kind of hearing people do marathon commentators about it, I think it is to do with the nature.
No, no, good God. Yeah, well, that's good to know because all I did was I looked at the world record run, made notes on the battles and like the pathing, and I was like, yeah, I could raw dog this. I could not raw dog that, and I didn't want to join another speedrunning Discord just to leave after I was done the run, you know. So I was trying to brute force it. Wasn't worth it,
That
man. It
makes
was not
sense.
worth it.
And another RPG game that I'm curious about is Yakuza Like a Dragon. Would you ever consider speedrunning that?
I haven't actually casually beaten Yakuza Like a Dragon, but um, I'm indifferent about the JRPG aspects for that one. And although I did like Lad, it doesn't pique my interest as much as Pirate Yakuza does. So I think if and when I eventually get Pirate Yakuza, I might try and speedrun that. I would love to speedrun Dead Souls. Um, but I
Yes.
but I don't have a PlayStation 3, and I don't think you guys accept emulators for that. And I think the PS3 emulator is still a bit wacky too. So yeah, it's hardware that I don't have, but I would love to learn Dead Souls. I think that'd be so much fun, just because again, memes, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that's the whole reason I picked up Dead Souls myself is because memes, and I managed to get a second-hand PS3 for cheap off eBay. So if you look at a second-hand market somewhere, you might be able to get a PS3 for kind of cheap if you're lucky.
How badly priced is Dead Souls nowadays? Is it like how Haunting Ground and like Rule of Rose is like $500 if you can find it?
Oh god, it's not that pricey, but it's still relatively pricey for the disc. The disc I think was about £50, which I think is like $65.
Yeah, something like
Um,
okay, so it's like a normal priced video game nowadays.
yeah, but you can get it for so much cheaper on the PSN store on PS3,
Yeah.
because I think that's still up at the moment. So get it before it's gone. Anyone
Okay.
listening, please play Dead
All right.
Souls.
All right. I think that'll be my next like relatively big purchase is getting that because um there are a bunch of PS3 games that I want to play, like Dante's Inferno. I played Dante's Inferno on PS3, but I didn't realize it was on 360. I thought it was a PS3 exclusive game.
No, no, no. That was a multi-platform one. Yeah.
I loved
I
Dante's Inferno.
Oh, me too. I played it for the first time back when I had a 360, and I had so much fun with it. It was such a good time. All right. I guess now that we've exhausted that topic of conversation for the moment, what would you say is your favorite game to speedrun? And I am just gonna say, well, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Chaos Bleeds, isn't it?
No, no.
No?
Holy shit!
Oh,
Sorry, I 1 second. I'm looping back to Dead Souls right now because I'm looking at it on eBay. The first copy that I see where it's like a clean disc, whatever, it's 117.99, and then the one after that where it's like the disc only is like 69.60. And I have someone pricing it with they got it graded, and it's so it's brand new and sealed, CGC graded 9.6 A plus seal, and that thing's like $550. Holy shit.
yeah. So it's good to have physical discs, but in this instance, I would definitely get the digital version.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because it doesn't the digital version also have like help with performance issues because it's directly installed on the game,
Uh, yeah.
the system. Sorry.
The PSN digital version does save quite a few minutes over the disc version, and even more so thanks to me testing an SSD. It saves around 20 minutes over the run.
Good pay to win
So
love that.
yeah. So if you do get a PS3, you have to make sure to get an SSD for it as well. Otherwise, you will just be sitting through so many loading scenes that take forever, and it's not a fun time.
Yeah. Oh, and then Dante's Inferno is much more feasible for 360. It's like $35.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Okay, but
Oh
to
yeah.
loop back to your question about what my favorite game to speedrun is, I
Yeah.
have a few. So I have a love-hate relationship with Chaos Bleeds because the weird thing about that game is they didn't think to be like so. All right, this is gonna be a long-winded explanation, but so OG Xbox Buffy, which is self-titled, is built, if I remember, by the same people that did Chaos Bleeds, and so they function the same, right? The combat's the same, the grabs, everything like that. But the difference is that in Xbox Buffy, you're actually able to break out of the grabs. Excuse me, break out of the grabs from the enemies, and like they can't just pull you out of animations like when you're opening a door versus Chaos Bleeds, where you could get grabbed and you're in the middle of like a super combo and they'll grab you mid combo and throw you across the room. So I love Chaos Bleeds, but Chaos Bleeds does not love me. So so yeah, I would say Chaos Bleeds is probably one of them, but it's more like a top five situation where it's on fifth. And then so fourth would probably end up being Dead Rising 2, because Dead Rising 2 is also kind of similar with Chaos Bleeds, where the RNG isn't always friendly with me, like with zombie grabs and like my boarding. But the boarding is more of a skill issue than anything. Uh, what else? Okay, so it's four. Three, I would say the third top game for me is probably going to be Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, New Game Plus. I love that run to death. Oh my gosh, such a good run. Um, Second would likely be Dead Rising 4 mini golf. But
Oh, of course.
much like Chaos Bleeds, that RNG bugs me a lot. But because it's a shorter run, it's not as painful. And because of the way that we routed it back in the day, everything's pretty much predetermined. The only thing that you have to worry about is accidentally, whiffing your shot or hitting a one of the explosive canisters. Because if you hit an explosive canister, it's either going to send your ball in the wrong direction or it's going to push your ball too far forward to not hit a hole. Um,
Oh
Uh,
yes, and in the wise words of Ecdysis, just
just
eat
eat
it.
it. Just eat it, bro. He was just eating it the whole time, and I can't believe it took me months to beat his record when he was just eating it.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Tex ran mini golf on Ecdysis's Speedruns from the Crypt hotfix show,
Yeah.
and yeah, when it came to one of the last holes, there's a super precise shot you have to make, and when Tex was explaining it, Ecdysis just said, "Oh wait, you aim there? I just yeet it," and
And just
yeah.
dead silence for me as I'm processing that. Like you, because you were commentating with me if I remember correctly, and it's just dead silence from me. The hole goes in, and I'm just like, "What do you mean you just eat it?"
I think that was Swede commenting with you because I think at that point it was too late and I had work the next day.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was sweet. It was sweet. Yep, yep. Also, love the fact that I'm not the only one that screws up your guys' names, and that what was it? UKSM, where they said
Oh
that
yeah.
you Swede was you and you were Swede. I think it was for
Oh,
Bedouin.
that was UKSG. Yeah, when they said take it away, Streetbackguy, and I was like, no, 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 it's Swedes run, Swedes run. Like, oh,
Yeah,
that was
unofficial
funny.
shout out to me because good God, get wow.
Yeah, I'll take all the glory. It's fine.
Yeah. And then I think my favorite run to do, man, that's just so hard to choose, honestly, because I have so many good runs and games that I always come back to. But I think the game that I have put the most amount of time into and I enjoy and that I'm really proud of is Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Game Boy Color. And the reason why that is, it's a very simplistic run, and the world record at the time when I started playing it was like a 28-minute run, 28 minutes and 2 seconds, I think, and I rerouted the whole game, just from bashing my head against the wall and being like, oh, well, how do I use these Coca Cola cans? Because the Coca Cola cans allow you to do like a super punch that immediately knocks down bosses. And so if you hit that, you're able to get a boss down within like a second or two, and boom, you're done. Um, but that's like my favorite one because I think it's still standing, but I have a 24-minute and something second run, and that's been holding strong for the last 4 years. And I'm just
Hell
super
yeah,
proud of
buddy.
that. And it's my favorite run because I could just go back to it and just enjoy it, even if I never get a PB again. You know?
Oh, we all have those games though. The ones I was super proud of, and we're like, oh, I don't care if I PB or not. I'm just happy to be doing this run again.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, it's bliss. It's nirvana. We've
yeah,
reached it.
yeah. Love it. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so there's a nice mix of games in there for your top five. And anyone listening, let us know what your favorite games to speedrun are too if you are a speedrunner, or if you don't speedrun, let us know what games you would be interested in if you were to start speedrunning. I'd always like to encourage a little bit of audience participation if possible. This is my first time directly asking for it, but if you guys do want to participate, feel free. It'll be great, and I'd love to see what you guys are interested in. Now, the next question, probably a bit of an easier one, relatively. What other speedrunners do you watch and follow?
Oh, that's a big list. Okay, so obviously Ecdysis, like religiously I watch Ecdysis. He's a super chill dude. Very good for horror content. Like he's the horror speedrun guy. So Ek, I hang out in Frub's chat for Yakuza. I've been hanging out in a speedrunners chat called P Town Rocks, and he does a lot of Final Fantasy runs. And those are always just cozy to sit through. Um, Matt DeRock. He does a lot of no damage Resident Evil games. Carcinogen SDA, kind of same dealio, where he does a lot of no damage stuff. But I also like the vibes that Carcy has every so like a lot too. Um, he's good to watch. Um, oh man, who else? I mean, obviously, whenever you are sweeter on, I hang out in y'all's chats. Um,
I'm I really appreciate it. Even though I don't stream, I always appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah, of course, man. Yeah, I always got to support the homies. Um,
Hell yeah.
When Tally streams like speed runs, I always hang out in Team Tally's chat. I'm trying to think about who else. Blood Thunder. I've been hanging out in his chat when he does Tomb Raider because the Tomb Raider 2013 trilogy. I love those games. I know people don't like them a lot, but they hold a special place in my heart. And he's been speedrunning those, and those are cozy runs to watch. Yeah,
Oh, they
I think
are.
that's
I
about it.
can. I can confirm the Tomb Raider ones from the one that he did at GDQ. That one was a mess, but it was so much fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, I think those would
Eh?
be like the amount of those people are the ones that I tend to watch the most.
It's a pretty solid list, and obviously, there's always new speedrunners that can pop up for anyone, either in Twitch recommended, just browsing on YouTube, or even just browsing on speedrun.com. So, yeah, I'm sure you'll find some new ones to get involved with as well, because, of course, there's a lot out there and a lot to cater to everyone in many types of games. So that's pretty cool. And on to our next question. I have on my little handy dandy cheat sheet here. What upcoming games excite you in general? Not in terms of speedrunning, but just in terms of being a game that you want to play and experience.
Bleach: Rebirth of the Soul. That comes out. That comes
And
out
we're
next week.
and we're back to the weeb stuff.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, no, dude. Okay, so we I think the reason why we're finally getting a new Bleach game is because Thousand Year Blood War has been out, and we get the final part of Thousand Year Blood War later this year. Which, oh my god, I'm so fucking excited for, dude. Oh, the fights that we're gonna get are gonna be so banger. Um, but yeah, I'm so hyped for us to get a new Bleach game that's gonna be on PC. Like they have I think it's almost over 100 characters on the roster that we're getting. Um, and I think the way that they're doing it is that the we're getting all of the arcs from the Substitute Soul Reaper arc, which is the very first arc, up until the Kakura Town arc, which is the final arc that we got in the initial anime run. And then once Thousand Year Blood War is done, we're gonna get that as a DLC story situation. And like I cannot express how hyped I am about this, but I can probably give you how hype I am of this. I spent $100 on the Ultimate Edition.
hard damn, now that's some dedication. And as someone who has never watched Bleach myself, because I'm not too big on very, very long anime series, um, those were just words you spouted out. But I'm
I know.
sure for all the Bleach fans listening, I'm sure they're also very hyped as well.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be such a good time. So that um, Silent Hill F. Whenever we get an early date for that, dude, I saw that content warning and I was like, yes, give me dark storytelling. Nom 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 nom.
I did watch well, I didn't watch the reveal trailer, but I did see some screenshots and the sort of trailer they've got in the Steam store,
Oh my
and
god,
it looks very pretty. It looks
it
like
looks so pretty, dude.
it's almost like a nice departure away from like the Americanized settings of the other Silent Hill games, and to have this in set in Japan or Korea. I don't know which one it is. I think
It's
it might
gonna
be
be in
Japan.
Japan. Yeah, it's in
Yeah,
Japan. It's Japan 1960s. So yeah, it's gonna be so good. I'm so stoked for that game. Uh, there's one other one there. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So the most recent state of play where they were announcing a bunch of new stuff. One of them was Tides of Annihilation. That's also a game I'm excited about because it looks like it's a Dark Souls kind of game, but it plays more like an action RPG, if that makes sense.
yeah, kind of. I don't think I've heard about Tides of Annihilation. I obviously need to catch up on State of Play because I missed it, but it does sound like it could be a fun time, just like mindless entertainment. So I'm definitely down for that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll send you the trailer for it after this.
yeah, sounds good, my dude. And we haven't really had any Fable news in a long time, have we? Either about that Fable reboot.
So I am torn about the new Fable game coming out. It looks pretty. It does. It really does. We recently got some gameplay footage of it, and it looks like they're going more with like you remember how Fable played, right?
Oh yeah. I couldn't stop playing 2 and 3 back on the 360.
Yeah, I love that series too. It's so good. Um, but it looks like we're still getting that same kind of combat, but it's going to be a lot more fluid. And I think the way that I described it when I was talking to Nally about it was that it looks like the combat is similar to The Witcher 3, where it's much more fluid and less kind of like slow, like the first three games were. And so I'm excited about that. The only thing that has me concerned is because it is current year, um, that that they're gonna fuck up the humor, right? Because that's another thing about Fable that was really charming about it was its humor. Like the gnomes in Fable, like where in Fable 3, where you have to hunt down all the gnomes, and as you're walking by them, they're insulting you so that you know where
Oh
to
yes.
find them. So yeah,
It's very British humor. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But and I'm hoping that we also get the option to kind of like in Fable 2 and 3, where you had the option of the male or female option, um, or being able to even customize your character more. Um, but we've only seen content with the female uh, character so far, and I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna be able to make it a good Fable game if they start stripping out all the things that made it Fable. But we don't have a lot of information about it right now. And the other thing that makes me worried about it is that the company that is making it, Playground, are only known for racing games. They're behind the Forza Horizon games, which makes sense as to why it's taken them so long to actually give us more content and information about the game because it's not a genre that they're familiar with.
Oh, that bodes well then. I mean, the only thing I really know about uh the Fable reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it, is that Richard Ialdi from the IT Crowd is in it,
Yeah.
and he is a great comedian. And actually, I can't remember. Is there a dog companion in the gameplay that they've shown?
Um, no, we haven't seen anything about a dog companion or anything like that, but from what I've seen, it doesn't look like we're gonna get that.
Oh, that sucks. Because if I remember correctly, this could just be the Mandela effect coming into play. But I seem to remember both 2 and 3 having a dog companion.
Yes.
Or am I misremembering? Oh yeah,
No, no,
shit,
no.
cool.
Yeah. Two is what introduced the dog companion, and then they kept the dog for three, and then in three there was like a bunch of DLC where you could change the breed of the dog.
Oh, the good old DLC, and obviously the good old Xbox Live Arcade pub games, which obviously
Yeah,
everyone played, right?
I did have pub games. Yeah, no, I had pub games, and then I also had. Do you remember
Oh,
the little side scroller one where it looked where all the characters looked like Sackboy? It was like
I don't think I know that one. No.
hold on. Let me see if I can
Oh,
find the name of it.
oh god, this is going to be so cursed. I just know it. It's probably going to give a lot of the listeners whiplash too if they're familiar with it.
Fable Heroes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I've heard the name. I just didn't know anything about it. So
yeah.
okay, that
It's
makes
it's
sense.
it's it's cute and cozy. That one plays more like a side-scrolling arcade game. Slash like Mario Party esque way is the best way I can describe it if I'm remembering it correctly. But yeah, I remember pub games. Pub games was baller. And then we had Fable the Journey, which was the Connect game that no one played.
I mean, everyone only got a Connect for the I'm Han Solo, the
Yeah,
good old Star Wars Connect. So,
yeah, I had the Star Wars Connect. Yep.
I mean, who doesn't love the Star Warsified version of popular songs? Am I right, fellow
Right?
kids? Ha 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 ha. Humor. Um, but they were just pandering to the crowd, and they were just trying to make it too futuristic in a way, and just kind of tripped over their own feet when they developed the Connect. Honestly.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, because we also had like the iToy from PlayStation, which
Yeah,
was
but the
its own
iToy
beast, or
wasn't
like the
as
PlayStation
bad.
Move. Yeah, that's true. The
Yeah,
iToy
but
was far better than the Kinect.
yeah, and the iToy was for the PS2, not a sixth gen console. So they obviously did way better on the PS2 with the iToy technology than they did with the Kinect, and that's just hilarious because I don't think the iToy used infrared like the Kinect does.
No, it used like a straight
Um,
up camera.
yeah, so come on, Microsoft, get your game head in the game. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm very professional.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's some there are really some good games coming out soon, and honestly, we'll just have to watch this space because I think not too long from now too, we're entering the start of the next financial year when April rolls
Hmm.
around, and there's probably going to be quite a lot of game announcements around that time as well, and then it'll probably be silent until God knows October time maybe.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that.
yeah. I really
Now,
hope that we get Silent Hill F this year, but it probably won't happen until Halloween of next year.
no, I mean they do take their care with the Silent Hill game, so it will take quite a while. So 2026 does seem like a very promising time for it to come out. Um, one game I'm looking forward to coming out next month actually is Promise Mascot Agency
Oh,
because
oh yeah, yeah.
that game is so bizarre, but yeah, it's got that Suda 51 charm, even though it's not a Suda 51 game, and it's
Love me
just
some Suda.
oh, me too, me too, and oh, there was something else coming out, but I forgot what it was that I was excited for.
Ooh, hold up, let me look at my wish list because I tend to wish list a lot of stuff that's like coming soon. Um, Abby, like Abby's Corner, she showed the that mascot game to me. She was like, "You might like this." I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah, I actually might." But hold up, come on.
Oh yeah, Abby introduced me to it too. I mean, I watched the reveal trailer. I think it was at the Game Awards or something. But Abby told me and Garlips to, give it a play, and so I played the demo, and I had fun with it.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for what number was chapter two to drop, but that's like one guy making this really beautiful, intricate story. There's another game called The Dungeon Experience, which is like really hilarious. Look that up. I can't really give it justice by explaining what it is. Post Trauma, Halston. There's a game called Haunted Paws coming out where you play as a dog, and it's a co-op game, but you play as a dog trying to find your missing owner. Um, that one's cute. What is it? This one, there's one that you might like on this list. We're just trying to find it. So yeah, Promise Mask, Showa American Story. That comes out in Q4 of 2024, and it's like this. It looks janky, but it's like an action game, kind of similar to the Oni Chenbara um, games in like the combat, but it's got the same kind of humor and silliness that a Suda 51 game would have, as well as like the crazy kind of like cinematics of a Metal Gear game.
That does sound pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah. Again,
um,
I'll try to remember to send you all of this stuff afterwards. But yeah, those are some more of my anticipated one. Oh yeah, Onimusha, Way of the Sword, the new Onimusha game coming out in 2026, or the fact that we're getting Onimusha 2 on PC finally. That one's
that
another
is
one that I'm
hype.
hyped about.
Yeah, I haven't played Onimusha. I think I've got Onimusha Warriors on Steam, but I definitely need to give it a play because it's definitely been on my the playlist for quite a while.
Yeah, it's a good game. I beat it in like 5 hours or so, 5.5 hours. So it's like it's a short, Capcom horror game, but it's fun. The story is interesting. To my understanding, two doesn't take place directly after one. It's its own little story, and then Onimusha three is that proper sequel to three because to one because that continues the story.
Well, thank you very much for that, Tex. I am looking
Mhm.
forward to loads of those games so far. I just hit my mic stand because I'm professional, and I'm looking forward to the stuff you send me over too, because evidently there are games that I haven't heard of, and I'm sure there are games that you haven't heard of either that would be great to recommend to you as well. And anyone listening as well, feel free to comment down below any games you're looking forward to releasing either soon, next year, whenever. And just let us know what you feel. It'll be great. And on that note, we are going to go on to the next segment of the podcast, which is speedrunning news. Now, there hasn't been much news recently, but the big one that has happened recently is Frost Fatale's GDQ's all-female and femme speedrunning marathon, raising money for, I believe, the National Center for Women. I don't know the actual organization's name, but they managed to raise just over $150,000 after their marathon wrapped up, and that's crazy. Especially because
are they also a week marathon like GDQ is, or are they a weekend marathon? I never know for Femme Fatales.
I think it's a week-long one. I'm gonna double check because it's a week-long. So it's the same thing. Obviously, it doesn't get as much attention as like AGDQ and SGDQ, which is kind of a shame, honestly, because there are some good runs shown in both Frost Fatales and Flame Fatales. But just the fact that they were able to raise that money for that organization is great. I'm not going to say it again because I've butchered the name again, and it's going to be so bad. Oh no.
Fair.
That's fine. You can make fun of me. It's fine.
Yeah, point your fingers and laugh.
Oh no, the witch hunt has started. Burn the witch. But yeah, other than that, there hasn't really been much in the terms of speedrunning news, but it's still quite a big news story to come out recently. It hasn't really come out. It's quite knowledgeable in the community, but hey, this isn't really news either, but Speedrunner, the marathon where you submit a game, but that's not the game you run. They had their They had their lottery draft yesterday, and from the list of runners that got assigned games, there were people who were assigned Dead Rising, which Swede is going to teach.
Nice.
There's someone who's going to be doing Silent Hill 4, which Garlips is going to teach. Other games in there include Halo 3, Little Witch Nobita, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, Sega Sonic.
Oh, dude, I gotta get a copy of Grabbed by the Ghoulies. That run looks silly.
Oh, yeah, it does look jank, and it is a rare game, so you know it's going to be full of charm.
Yeah, man, Grabbed by the Ghoulies is one of those games that, like, I vaguely remember playing as a kid, and then I thought it was a fever dream until recently. I was like, oh no, this is an actual game. Wait a minute.
I mean, I was kind of like that with, what was it, Maximo, Ghost to Glory, and, because I remember...
Oh my god, yeah, I remember that game too.
Yeah, I remember that game from my childhood, and I only just recently found it again, and I was like, oh god, why did I play this as a child? This is brutal for a child.
It really is. It's like Maximo's kind of like the 3D version of Ghosts and Ghouls. No, Ghosts and Goblins.
I think it actually was developed to be some sort of like spiritual successor to that series as well, which would explain it.
Yeah, because like as Maximo loses health, he loses his armor, and then if you're down to your last hit, he's only in his underwear.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about like throwing lances or axes or something though, so I might have missed that as a child, because admittedly as a child I didn't get very far in the game, but hey, we live and we learn. But yeah, I think that's everything on the agenda for this podcast, so I think we'll bring this podcast to a close right now. So once again, thank you so much for listening, everyone, and a very, very special thank you once again to Texan Red Wolf for agreeing to come on and for being a bro, a homie, chill dude. And is there anyone or anything you want to shout out? Any promotion you want to do?
Well, first I want to say thanks for inviting me to your podcast. This is the second speedrun podcast I've ever been on, so it's really cool to get asked to be on these things. 'Cause I'm gonna be real, I don't think too highly of my speedrunning career. I simply exist. But any shout out stuff, obviously, shout outs to Street, like my boy, he is putting in the work with this podcast and any of his runs. Please make sure to keep up with this podcast. It's cozy to listen to on my drives to work.
Oh, don't worry, we're 5 episodes in right now, so I don't plan on stopping it just yet.
Good. But then shout outs, I'm just gonna shout out myself. You could find me on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all under Texan_Red_Wolf. I stream I stream Thursdays through Mondays, unless life gets at me, and then I'm usually Wednesdays to Sundays. What else? I've got a bunch of RPG stuff I'm planning on doing. I'm currently getting through Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins, because I really love the Final Fantasy series, and it also itches that need for like a really good story and RPG stuff. A lot of things coming down the line on my end if I'm able to make it work this year, is basically what's going on. Event, I will be on really, really long-a-thon, lots of lore sticks on this Sunday, March 23rd at like 5:26 p.m. Central Time. I'll be running Chaos Bleeds any percent with the cutscenes. That's going to be a good time. But I think that's all I can think of off the top of my head that I'll be that's going on right now, and shout outs wise.
Hey, no worries. But everyone, please do go give Tex some support on both his Twitch channel and his YouTube and wherever else, Twitter, Blue Sky, wherever you may be. And once again, thank you for coming and joining me. It's been a cozy little time here today, and yeah, hopefully we'll keep this podcast going on. I haven't asked this to any of the other guests because it only just sprung to my mind because I'm very professional. But is there anyone else you would like to see partake in this podcast? Just shooting the shit, just discussing speedrunning, their exploits, their runs, etc.
I would get Tally. Tally's a good one to have. Schmumbler, if you haven't had him on yet. I think your first episode was with Garlips, right?
First episode was with Hobbytan, and Garlips was the second epistood.
Okay, all right. So you got them covered. I think you'd probably be able to like pick through anyone on our Twitch team, for Clock Tower Twitch team. If you're able to reach out and do that stuff, probably Eck if you had the time. But yeah, I said that would be a good bunch of people, honestly.
It would be, yes. And anyone listening, if there's anyone that you would like to see featured on this podcast, who you want to see go through the process of being interrogated by me and probably cringing because I'm not funny, then please leave them down in... Do you like that joke? I thought it was a good one.
Yes.
Thanks. I appreciate it, buddy. But if you have anyone that you would like to see on this podcast, please do leave it down in the comments below, and I'll try and get in touch with them, see if we can arrange something for a future episode. It would be a great time. And yeah, thank you all for listening. Once again, big shout out to Tex. Go follow him, go support him, go show him some love. And I will see you in the next episode if you decide to come back, and I hope you all have a fantastic day, week, evening, night, wherever you may be. This is Streetbackguy, and I hope you have a wonderful day.